and CA Premlata Daga Saboo. Please welcome, sir. Expansion and growth. In an era, the dynamic economy landscape, timeless financial wisdom hold the key to making informed decisions. Welcome to this insightful session titled Unlocking Financial Wisdom Insight from Timeless Wisdom and Finance. This is Piyush Nagrale, delighting and privileged to welcome you all to the 6th edition of Orange City Literature Festival organized by SGR, Knowledge Foundation and associate with GH Raisoni University powered by Raisoni Education. Today, we are privileged to learn from two extraordinary minds who have dedicated themselves to financial education and empowerment. This promises to be a session filled with knowledge, strategies, and actionable takeaway. Let me first introduce our esteemed speaker for the day, Mr. Anil Lamba. Please give the applause. Dr. Anil Lamba is an unclaimed author, financial literacy activist, and international corporate trainer. He is the driving force behind making financial education accessible to everyone, be it individual and organizations. His book, Timeless Wisdom on Finance, encapsulate of expertise, offering invaluable lessons for mastering personal and corporate finance. Dr. Lamba mission is to demystify finance, making it less intimidating and more empowering for all. His ability to simplify complex concepts has earned him a global reputation. Joining him in conversation today is the dynamic CA Premlata Daga Saboo. Please. She, honored as the star woman of VIRC in International Women's Day 2024, is a chartered accountant by profession and educator by passion. She qualified as a chartered accountant in the year 2012 at a young age of 22. With her interest in company law, she went on doing the company secretary course. She even holds a diploma in information system audit and post-qualification course on information system by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. She is a partner in GTA and Co LLP and a registered valuer for securities and asset class with IBBI. She started her career as an faculty at NADT and so far has taught financial accounting to 10 batches of IRS officers. She has conducted 500 plus sessions on financial investigation through Tally at NADT and even Direct Tax Regional Training Institute DTRTI, Bhopal, Chandigarh, Bangalore, Kolkata and Ahmedabad. CA Premlata Saboo is not only a sessions chartered accountant, but also passionate advocate for financial clarity and literacy. Known for her analytical approach and engaging personality, she brings the perfect balance of expertise and curiosity to the discussion. Together, they will delve into timeless financial principles and share practical strategies to navigate today's economy realities. Let's welcome them both with big round of applause. As the topic itself is so very captivating that can make all of us to delve deep into the forgetting the time frame. I must appreciate the guest of this session for having expected and structured this topic into frame of 40 minutes exclusive of the audience questionnaire. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome them both and I hand over the mic to Premlata ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
So very warm welcome to this very, very wonderful session. I see many people here. So, सबसे पहला question what I would like to know, that is finance accounts difficult? Yes or no? Yes. Even for businessmen, they are dealing with money. Okay, after watching Sir's video, okay. So it's my immense pleasure today to host this session with Sir Lamba Sir. Uh, Reason being, in spite of being a chartered accountant, he has done a wonderful job of making so many difficult and technical things are very easy to understand for a layman. So all those who might have read his books, I mean, there are series of books which he has written, and right now the timeless wisdom on finance. It's like his morning message that he floats to all his connects that has been compiled to a book which is now available in the market. So first thing I would like to know from Sir, what inspired you to write the books first? Because being a chartered accountant, we are generally away from all these work.
Frankly, I don't know. Most of the things that I do were probably unplanned. I of course, became a CA. Next thing is I started practicing on day one. I was invited by a management school to teach in Pune. That's the first time the thought of teaching came in. Took it up reluctantly, but then thoroughly enjoyed myself. So that activity grew along with the CA practice. Very soon, college teaching, I had to stop because practice had picked up and it interfered with the office hours. But then corporates had started inviting. Tata Motors was my first client, continues to be. And then you realize, oh, these people are not studying to pass exams, but to apply it. So that was even more fun. But what I'm trying to tell you is, when you study a subject, you think you have learned it now, but the world knows it all along. You are the new fellow on the new kid on the block. But it's a process of discovery how little people understand this subject. By people, I mean the people who can't afford not to know. Are you aware that in the world, out of all the businesses that fail, over 95% fail due to financial mismanagement? And when a business fails, it's easy to say. When a business fails, the owner is not the only one who suffers. Hundreds and thousands of employees lose jobs, vendors lose money, bankers lose money, shareholders lose money. It creates chaos. And why did they fail? Not because the product was bad, not because they don't know how to sell, but because finance management was bad. And why was finance management bad? Because people wrongly think finance management happens in finance department. My first message in an organization, the only non-finance department in your company is the one that you call as finance department. You should call that accounts department. Finance management or mismanagement happens 24/7 in the actions of every individual in the organization. If you're a salesperson and if your product is this chair, and as a salesperson you meet a customer on the field who says, Raisoni group of institutions needs 10,000 chairs like this because they're a large organization. But you're giving it for, how much is this? 5,000? No, I can give you 4,000. Now this fellow has to take a decision. He's giving me an order of 10,000 chairs, but not 5,000, 4,000 per piece. The moment he says yes or no, there's not a sales decision, it's a financial decision. Purchase decision, production decision, HR decision. This is real finance management or mismanagement. People like us, finance professionals, we are not in the picture when finance management is happening. After everything is over, people like us come into the picture and tell you whether the organization has made a profit or loss. So tell me, who's the real finance person? The fellow who calculates profit or the fellow who generates profit? And because companies don't, biggest of companies across the world, because they don't understand this, the price paid is 90 to 95% business failures happens because of this. So I started discovering while training companies, you realize how little companies understand. Now I'm coming to your answer to your question. And then, but when you're talking to a group of people in a room, 30, 40 people, and you realize this 30, 40 million people need to understand this. So the desire was always, and I could see dramatic changes happening. We've turned around companies who would have failed otherwise. People who learned and then implemented, I can't even begin to tell you the kind of impact this happened. Not because I do it, anyone who learns finance. So desire was there to take it to a larger audience. And how do you do it? One method is a book. But I'm basically a lazy person. I did all this because I used to enjoy it. If it doesn't feel like fun, I don't do it. And I thought writing a book is hard work. I used to think. So I never wrote it really for a long time till I got chicken pox. I got sick for 10 days and I had nothing to do. So I started typing. Didn't know I'm writing a book. At the end of 10 days, what came out of it became Romancing the Balance Sheet. So that's how the first book got written. It happened by fluke. It wasn't by design.
So, coming to your first book, sir, Romancing with Balance Sheet. So, one more thing that I would like to know, what inspires you to give such a creative, titles? One more book you have, Flirting with Stocks.
Yes.
So, is it because as this is considered as a dry subject, it's a black and white world, and most of the people don't enjoy talking about accounts, finance, debit, credit specifically. So making it creative, colorful, because all your books are very colorful, the titles are very attractive. It actually forces a person
And the language
to read
is very
it.
easy. Yeah.
Language is very easy, and the morning messages that you float, and they are so simple, so powerful. So how did you arrive at the simplicity? I even would like to add, sir was even a practicing chartered accountant. Still, he sits in a CA office, but doesn't actually do a CA
I don't do
work.
audits and taxation anymore, but yeah.
But one thing, because sir, being a practicing chartered accountant, he has gone through many businesses being an auditor. And then we actually understand what are the mistakes that people in business really do. So I would like to ask you a question. What are the top 3 mistakes that generally people do, though they come from a background, maybe finance or may not be from a finance background, but the major mistakes in a business is that basically leads them to losses or may not be the desired profits?
Okay. Too many questions rolled in one, so I'll try and answer one by one. One was the simplicity because, we just talked about what a price people pay when you stay away from this subject. Nobody can say I'm a non-finance person. But why do people stay away? Because there are 2 myths. You asked a very nice question in the beginning. Do you think it's difficult or do you think it's, 2 perceptions people have about the subject. Number one, they think it is difficult. And number one, they think it is boring. Guys, I don't think finance is a technical subject. It's a common sense subject. Whatever I've written in Romancing the Balance Sheet, if you don't read in the book, if you sit in a room and meditate, probably you'll be able to come up with all the principles on your own. It's a completely common sense subject. Number 2, when somebody thinks it's boring, my answer is I'm talking about money. How can money ever be boring? Money is the most exciting thing in life. But because of these 2 perceptions, that it is difficult and it is boring, people stay away and the price paid is terrible. Now, the second question was, what are the 3 mistakes? I can give you 300 mistakes, but which 3 to talk about? One is, folks, tell me what business is Tata Motors in? Let me tell you what business they are not in. They are not in the business of making motor cars. What business is Hilton Group not in? They are not in the business of hospitality. What business is Wipro not in? They are not in the business of IT services. All these companies are in one business, and that is to make profit. The methods are different. Tata Motors makes profit via making motor cars and Hilton does it through hospitality. But the single objective of running a business is to make profit. First mistake people make is they forget this. In finance, there are 2 jargons. In a profit and loss statement, the topmost figure is sales and the bottommost figure is profit or loss. The topmost figure, not very creatively, is called the top line and the bottommost figure is called the bottom line. What I'm trying to tell you is, guys, business is run to generate a healthy bottom line, not top line. But most businesses forget this and the entire focus is on the top line. And then tragic things happen at times. The top line is going up and the bottom line is coming down. So first mistake, Your business has to be bottom line driven. And this mistake, I think a lot of startups make also, because they have a few role models which are making losses for years together, and they think this is how the business has to be run. Not at all. Second mistake people make is what they don't understand, that profit that a business makes and the bank balance that it has are two different things. People confuse profit with money. Folks, they are absolutely two different things. It is possible that your company makes crores of profit and you have no money in the bank. And it is equally possible that you're sitting on huge amounts of bank balance and you still don't make a profit. And for a healthy business, for a sustainable business, both are equally important. So your focus has to be, number one, on profitability management, and number two, on cash flow management. Cash flow being neglected, sometimes the best of businesses come to a standstill because they run into a cash crunch. And I think the third mistake, if I have to bring it to three only, is you bring me 10 businessmen right now, top guys. Either all 10 or 9 of them will not know. You ask them, if they're a manufacturing company, you ask them, do you know your cost of production? They'll say, of course. Do you know cost of administration? They will say, yes. Do you know cost of selling? They'll say, yes. Ask them, do you know your cost of capital? Either all 10 or 9 out of 10 will not know. And guys, within capital, they treat owners' money to be free. And owner's money is not only not free, it is probably the most expensive source of money available. So unless your business revenue not only covers the cost of production, not only covers the cost of admin, not only covers the cost of sales, but also covers the cost of capital, including owner's money, the business is not a success in the real sense of the term. There's a study by Bain and Company which says in America, 9 out of 10 businesses do not even generate enough returns to cover the cost of capital. And you think you're making a profit because you haven't attributed a cost to the owner's money, which is actually the most expensive money.
Before we move on to the next question, do audience want to know something from sir? Considering, I would like to have a question from a businessman. कि सर ने अभी cost of capital की एक बात कही. Do you have any question on this? What is the cost of capital? Yeah.
No, I'm saying it's not a success in the real sense of the term. Frankly, I need an hour, 2 hours to give you an illustration and explain. I have 2 golden rules. You bring me any sick company's balance sheet and I'll tell you which of the 2 golden rules was violated. These are my rules, not standard rules. One of these 2 rules talks about the revenue generated should be equal to or greater than cost of capital. Now, how to give an example, I'm still trying to figure out. You know, when you make a profit loss statement and arrive at profit, in that owner's money's cost does not appear as an expense. So very often you are under a wrong impression company is making a profit. What I'm trying to tell you is the profit that you generate should be enough to cover the cost of capital. When that Bain and Company says 9 out of 10 companies in America do not cover the cost of capital means they're making a profit. Tell me how much should be considered as cost of owner's money? Can you, rough idea? Anyone would like to venture a guess? There's a business, you went to a bank and took a loan and the bank said, I'll charge you 10% interest and the owner contributed money. So what is the cost of banker's money? 10%. Frankly, not even 10% because it's a tax deductible item. So net of tax, it becomes lower. What is the cost of owner's money? Anji? We take it, most people take it as free of cost, whereas that is the pitfall. My thinking is, now these statements when I make it become difficult to digest. But I think rock bottom should be at least 3 times the cost of your borrowed money. Rock bottom. I think it should be far higher. Now, if your borrowing is at 15%, then owner's money should be attributed 40 to 50%. That means your business is not even worth running unless you generate a minimum return of 40-50%. Now, when I make a statement like this in front of a room full of owners, which I'm doing all the while, large business people sitting over there, 100 people in the room, addressing an EO meeting or a YPO meeting or a CII meeting, and you say, guys, don't even start a business unless you earn minimum 50%. Now, naturally, half a dozen people are on their feet. Anil, कौन सा business 50% return देता है? Guys, those of you who are in business, tell me what kind of margins do you generate in business? I can talk about my clients. Like I spend hell of a lot of time training L&T, for example. We're training 100,000 people in L&T alone. L&T, small projects of L&T are 2,000, 3,000 crores each. The bigger projects of L&T are 15, 20,000 crores. How much is the margin of L&T, guys? Average margin is 11%. We train, for example, Aditya Birla Group, across the group. Now, if you're training Hindalco, they also have something similar. If you're training Ultratech, they have a little higher, 15, 18%. My experience is, most businesses' profit margin range from 6-7% on the lower side to 15, 17, 18% on the upper side. And then you stand up and tell a group of business people, don't even start a business unless you can generate a minimum return of 50%. Natural reaction of the person is, Anil, which business gives you that kind of return? Then I need to explain, what do I mean by 50%? Imagine I want to start a trading business. I want to trade in these phones. For argument's sake, let us say this phone costs 1 lakh. And I feel I should not even invest in any business unless I can earn 50%. So what am I trying to suggest? I will only do this trading business of iPhones provided I can buy the phone for 1 lakh and sell it for 1.5 lakh, 50% margin, but I can't. These are competitive businesses. I'll be lucky if I can buy for 1 lakh and sell it for 1 lakh 1,000. That kind of margin I might get. Now the question is, do you think this business deserves my money? Imagine I have only 2 lakh rupees to invest. So what do? I buy two phones. I buy them for 1 lakh. I mark them up to 101. I sell them for 101 each. I sell the 2 phones. I release the money. I buy 2 more. I sell them, release the money, buy 2 more. Sell them, release the money, buy 2 more. End of the year, I find I sold 100 phones. How much did I buy them for? 1 crore. How much did I sell them for? 1 crore, 1 lakh. How much profit did I make? कितने के आईफोन खरीदे थे? 1 करोड़ के. कितना प्रॉफिट बनाया? 1 लाख. What is the margin made by me? 1%. Do you think I should do this business, or should I put my money in a bank FD and earn 5%, bonds में डाल के 7-8%, stock market में डाल के 15-20%? What should I do? Should I put it in the business or put it there? Answer is, put it in this business. Why? अरे पैसा कितना डाला था? 2 लाख. Profit कितना बनाया? Guys, I have generated a return on investment of 50%. When I say you must earn 40-50%, I am talking about ROI. Those who get up horrified saying, Anil, which business gives you that kind of return? They are interpreting it to be profit margin. L&T ka profit margin 11% hai. One of the trainings we do in L&T is we train them how to execute thousands of crores of project with zero investment out of pocket. Guys, their margin is 11%, but the ROI is infinity. Your target has to be on maximizing ROI. I don't know how much sense this is making. This answer should be worth over an hour or so with the help of a presentation or a board. If you're still understanding what I'm saying, hats off to you. You should not be following what I'm telling you right now.
This concept that sir has explained. Yeah.
ROE or ROC of greater than 20. It is very difficult.
मेरे पास बैठ, I'll give you tens of examples.
सर ने जो भी कॉन्सेप्ट बताया, लाइक द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द नेट प्रॉफिट मार्जिन एंड रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट. Sir, I would like your permission to just share one more incident. We all know Sabji Wala? Yes. Just to connect with it, every day he buys sabji for 5,000 rupees. At the day end, वो 5,500 में वो सब बेच के घर जा सकता है. तो 5,000 रुपए लगा के उसने 500 रुपए कमाए, मतलब 10% कमाया.
3,750% per annum.
Yes. ये वो 300 बार करता है क्या? वो सेम 5,000 रुपए को रोज शाम तक 5,500 में बेच के वो 500 रुपए कमा रहा है 5,000 के इन्वेस्टमेंट पे. और ऐसा वो 300 बार करेगा तो वो 5,000 रुपए पे 500 रुपीस कमा रहा है, लेकिन इन अ ईयर 300 टाइम्स. सो द रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट इज 3,000%. एंड प्रोबेबली दिस इज द रीजन कि रिलायंस वाले भी सब्जी बेच रहे हैं. सो एवरीबडी अंडरस्टैंड दैट गणित.
अरे आधा भी
कोई भी
2 दिन
amount
में
ले
एक
लो.
बार करेगा तो भी कितना हो गया है ना.
Still, आप एक बार. So, coming to our next question here, कि all those who are businessmen sitting here, आज उन्हें अगर घर जाके अपनी फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट को देखना है ये समझने के लिए कि उन्होंने बिजनेस करना चाहिए कि नहीं, और आर दे गेटिंग द डिजायर्ड रिटर्न्स फ्रॉम देयर बिजनेस, तो व्हाट few things they must check in their balance sheets. And ek to sir balance sheet side everybody is making only once in a year. First balance sheet jo hum banate hain, I guess sir you should also highlight ki how frequently we should assess our financial statements.
So those of you who have an understanding of a balance sheet tells you, one side tells you where the money has come from, other side tells you what you did with the money. So first thing is you got to know your cost of capital, which is the sources side का total cost. मेरा वो 2 golden rules हैं. Rule number 1 says you should never invest your money without ensuring what you earn from deployment of money, the returns should be either equal to or greater than the cost of capital. And the second rule is you must remember balance sheet में all sources appear as liabilities. उसका मतलब क्या है? Liability का मतलब है वापस देना पड़ेगा कभी ना कभी. And what did you do with the money? You went and used it to buy assets. But the liabilities have to be paid back sometime or the other. And therefore, investment should happen in such a way that the assets will bring the money back before the liabilities come asking for it back. If these 2 golden rules are not violated, I will guarantee you your business will not get into trouble. Or most businesses who are in trouble, you will be able to trace it between either their ability to earn was not equal to or greater than cost of capital, or inflows did not happen on time to meet the outflows. But then each of these needs at least 2 hours of explanation, each rule, to be able to do justice to it. Second thing you will realize if you go back and pick up your own balance sheets, imagine guys, your sources cost you average 20%. Why 20%? Loans, etc. might cost you 10, 12, 15%. Owner's money 30, 40. Average, imagine it's 20%. Tell me, when would this business be called a success? When users earn 20%? Magar reality is all sources cost, but all users don't earn. Why don't all users earn? Because if you make a list of all your assets, you will be able to identify every asset. Against every asset, you'll be able to write either performing or non-performing asset. Every business necessarily has to have a certain portion of assets that are called non-performing. और non-performing का मतलब क्या? वो कमाता नहीं है आपके लिए. What is a non-performing asset? आपके पास कार है, गाड़ी है, बहुत अच्छी चलती है. Performing है कि non-performing है? Your car is a non-performing asset. वो taxi owner's car is a performing asset. Source costs you money. All assets don't earn. My observation is if you happen to be an extremely lucky organization, तो आपका जो breakup है performing non-performing का शायद 50-50 हो सकता है. Lucky हैं तो, नहीं तो non-performing can be even higher. Now tell me, how does it change the equation? Sources cost you 20, users must earn 20, and now you find half the users don't earn. So other half will have to earn how much? 40. और तीसरा चीज है, इवन परफॉर्मिंग एसेट्स डोंट परफॉर्म थ्रू आउट द ईयर. अगर आप 6 days इन अ वीक काम करते हो तो 52 days एसेट्स आर नॉट परफॉर्मिंग. गॉड फॉरबिड इफ यू हैव अ 5-day वीक, 104 days those assets are not performing. फिर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनीज हैव मेंटेनेंस शटडाउन, ब्रेकडाउन, फिर सिक लीव्स, फेस्टिवल्स. किसी ने हिसाब लगाया कि the best organization in the world performs not more than 2/3 of the year. अब परफॉर्मिंग भी पूरा साल नहीं परफॉर्म करते, 2/3 of the year. बट किसी बैंकर ने आज तक आपको बोला कि संडे काम नहीं करते तो इंटरेस्ट मत देना. Liabilities perform 365 days. Sources cost 20%, users must earn 20. If half the users earn, they have to earn 40. If they earn 2/3 of the year, they have to earn 60. So you are having to run faster and faster on a treadmill. अब आपको एक सीक्रेट मिल जाएगा प्रॉफिट बढ़ाने का. क्या सीक्रेट है? नंबर 1, आप अर्निंग पे फोकस कर रहे हो. कैन यू रिड्यूस कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल? हाउ कैन यू रिड्यूस कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल? कुछ पैसा सस्ता है, कुछ पैसा महंगा है. अगर सस्ते पैसे का प्रोपोर्शन थोड़ा ज्यादा होगा तो वो 20% could have been 16%. नंबर 2, एसेट खरीदते समय डिड यू इवैल्यूएट परफॉर्मिंग ले रहे हो कि नहीं ले रहे हो? व्हाट डज परफॉर्मिंग मीन? मशीन आपकी फैक्ट्री में परफॉर्मिंग है, अरे मगर 60% यूटिलाइजेशन है तो इस परफॉर्मिंग एसेट का 40% नॉन परफॉर्मिंग कंपोनेंट है. तो यार 100 टन की मशीन क्यों लगाई अगर 50 टन प्रोड्यूस करना था? तो कंफर्ट मिलता है ना, बट यू रियलाइज द प्राइस दैट यू पे फॉर इट. गोडाउन में इन्वेंट्री कितनी रखी है आपने? अरे होनी चाहिए जस्ट इन के 3 महीने की. अगर 2 महीने की इन्वेंट्री से काम चलता तो 3 महीने क्यों रखी? आई एम सेइंग हर जगह एक नॉन परफॉर्मिंग मिलेगा आपको. इंप्रूव द प्रोपोर्शन बिटवीन परफॉर्मिंग एंड नॉन परफॉर्मिंग. एंड नंबर 3, ट्राई टू सी परफॉर्मिंग एसेट्स परफॉर्म एज लॉन्ग अ ड्यूरेशन एज पॉसिबल. ऐसे 6 दिन हफ्ते में काम करते हो, 5 दिन काम करते हो, 7 दिन क्यों नहीं करते? वो नारायण मूर्ति वाला रिकमेंडेशन नहीं दे रहा हूं मैं. आई एम सेइंग लोगों को छुट्टी चाहिए ना, बारी बारी से दो ना. कंपनी क्यों बंद करते हो? डू होटल शट डाउन, डू एयरलाइन शट डाउन, तो कंपनी क्यों बंद होती है? बाय रोटेशन छुट्टी दो. आई नो फ्रेंड्स ऑफ माइंड सेटिंग अप अ न्यू प्लांट. क्या हो गया? आई रीच फुल कैपेसिटी. हाउ मेनी शिफ्ट डू यू वर्क? 1 shift. हाउ हैव यू रीच फुल कैपेसिटी? स्वेट योर एसेट्स मोर. Those of you running businesses, if you note these down somewhere, deserve long explanation. 3 things पे काम करो. Number 1, reduce cost of capital. Try and do that. Number 2, improve the proportion between performing and non-performing. Number 3, try and see that performing assets perform as longer duration in the year as possible. I will guarantee you, existing turnovers में आपकी profitability बढ़ने लग जाएगी. और अब with a perfect balance sheet at your disposal, you try and increase turnovers, dramatic changes will happen to the bottom line. Sorry, I don't know question क्या पूछा आपने, मैं कहाँ चला गया, but sorry about it.
जहां गए सबको बहुत अच्छा लगा सुन के. सर आपने अभी एक चीज कही थी कि 2 चीज करनी है, एक कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल को कम करना है एंड परफॉर्मिंग असेट्स बढ़ाना है. तो व्हेन इट कम्स टू द कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल, आई अंडरस्टैंड सर बोरोड फंड सबसे सस्ता कैपिटल होता है बिकॉज जो रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट है उसमें हमें टैक्स बेनिफिट भी मिलता है. इक्विटी सबसे महंगा कैपिटल होता है. अब एक बहुत बड़ा क्वेश्चन होता है सर कि डेट, एक डेट से डर लगता है बिकॉज इट कम्स विद अ कमिटमेंट. सो डेट कैसे मैनेज करें? लाइक लोन लेना चाहिए, नहीं लेना चाहिए?
अब ये थोड़ा कंट्रोवर्शियल एरिया हो जाएगा
बिकॉज बहुत सारे लोग डेट फ्री पे भी, अभी लिस्टेड कंपनीज आर आल्सो हाईलाइटिंग वी आर डेट फ्री, बट टू गेट अ लिवरेज, फाइनेंशियल लिवरेज, इफ यू आर एबल टू जनरेट 25% रिटर्न ऑन योर कैपिटल एंड यू गेट अ डेट net of tax at only 8%, it's a big leverage.
So that is my constant recommendation that sasta paisa use. I was being interviewed on ET Now the other day, and the lady asked me, what do you think of companies that get up and say we are a debt-free company? My reaction was, were they boasting or were they apologizing? So by saying I'm debt free, you are saying मेरे को सस्ता पैसा नहीं चाहिए, मैं सिर्फ महंगा पैसा यूज करूँ. Guys, problem is not with debt. Problem is with violating one of the two rules that I told you. अगर आप बैंक से डेट लेते हो at 10% और कमाने की ताकत 6% की भी नहीं है, ऐसा डेट प्लीज डोंट टेक. रूल नंबर 1 गॉट वायलेटेड. रूल नंबर 1 ने क्या बोला था? पैसा जब डिप्लॉय करोगे, अर्निंग शुड बी इक्वल टू और ग्रेटर देन द कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल. इफ यू कांट इवन अर्न, देन व्हाई डिड यू बोरो? नंबर 2, यू मे बोरो एंड प्रॉमिस टू द बैंक 2 साल में रिटर्न कर देंगे, लेकिन बिजनेस मॉडल ऐसा है कि 4 साल तक आएगा नहीं. Then rule number 2 got violated because inflow should happen before the outflow has to happen. ऐसा डेट मत लेना कभी. So problem is not with debt, problem is with wrong debt. But imagine you have a business opportunity, 100 करोड़ लगाना है, आपके पास नहीं है, बैंक देने को तैयार है, लेकिन बैंक बोलता है 10% इंटरेस्ट लगेगा, और अगर आप ये 100 करोड़ लगाओगे तो आप 20% कमा सकते हो. And bank says इसको return it in 3 years. एंड जहां डालोगे वहां 1.5 साल में वापस आ जाएगा. नाउ यू हैव 2 choices. या तो बोले यार मेरे पास पैसा नहीं है, आई विल रिफ्यूज दिस ऑफर, और गो एंड टेक अ लोन एंड एग्जीक्यूट द प्रोजेक्ट. क्या करना चाहिए? नो ब्रेनर है ना. इफ यू कैन अर्न मोर देन व्हाट यू हैव टू पे, एंड इफ इट कैन कम बैक बिफोर इट हैज टू बी पेड बैक, प्लीज टेक दिस काइंड ऑफ अ लोन कैन बी टेकन. सो प्रॉब्लम इज नॉट विद डेट, प्रॉब्लम इज विद वायलेशन ऑफ वन आउट ऑफ दीज 2 रूल्स. So if these 2 rules don't get violated, the more you borrow, the more you will prosper. But these recommendations are for business life, not for personal life. Unless in personal life also you have the ability to do that, but.
So, sir, एक बड़ा popular question है. It is now diverting towards personal finance also somewhat, sir, with your permission. एक बड़ा भी हमारे पास बहुत सारे fin influencers हैं, and I guess many of you might also be following them. तो अभी ऐसे भी चलता है कि पर्सनल फाइनेंस के ऊपर इंडिया में फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी रेशियो इज 27%. दैट इज व्हाट गवर्नमेंट टेल्स, एंड आई डोंट नो हाउ डू दे कैलकुलेट. इन सिटिंग इन द रूम, हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू फील दैट यू आर फाइनेंशियली लिटरेट? You are literate, you are educated when it comes to the normal education, but how many of you feel you are financially literate? ऐसे धीरे धीरे एक ही उठा रहा है, वो भी धीरे धीरे. ओके, ये we are coming exactly to the point. हम कब कहेंगे सर कि एक इंसान फाइनेंशियली लिटरेट है? When it comes to the personal level. गवर्नमेंट ने कैसे किया है पता है? जिसके पास सेविंग बैंक अकाउंट है, जिसको एक तो ऐसी चीज और है which is like so generalized, and in spite of this definition, if the percentage is 27%, then it is a serious question, sir. आपके अंडरस्टैंडिंग में एज एन इंडिविजुअल को हम फाइनेंशियली लिटरेट कब कहेंगे? Business perspective,
I think from an individual point of view, financial literacy will be in who understands how to save, who understands the power of compounding, who knows how to invest, so that you take care of, while you're earning, it's okay. But when you stop earning, who will take care of you if you have generated enough capital so that you can, so if you know how to invest your money where you beat inflation and you are left with, if you understand all these, koi definition to hai nahi, but I think this is what a financially literate individual learns to do.
Okay, so they are ready for their future when they stop learning.
Question.
In the era of startups, where burning cash is a very
Scary situation.
everywhere wherever you find burning cash.
बर्निंग कैश इज ओके. गॉडफादर अगर खड़ा है, वो मैं सप्लाई करूंगा, तुम बर्न करो, ठीक है. मगर बेचारे जिनके पास नहीं है, वो इनको देख के सीख लगता है ऐसे ही बिजनेस चलाना चाहिए, वो लोग मर जाते हैं. अगर सॉफ्ट बैंक्स खड़े हैं आपके पीछे कि यू गो ऑन बर्न, मैं हूं देने के लिए, उनको देख के 10,000 लोग और लेसन सीखते हैं, हम भी वही करेंगे. बिल्कुल. एंड देन दे सी, आप सक्सेसफुल स्टार्टअप के बारे में पढ़ते हो, मगर हर सक्सेसफुल के पीछे 10,000 जो डूब गए उसके बारे में किसी ने लिखा नहीं ना, तो वो लोग उस कैटेगरी में आ जाते हैं. प्रॉफिट, वो लोग करेक्ट, दे फोकस ऑन द टॉप लाइन, नॉट द बॉटम लाइन.
So then when you're investing into it, or you're working with that mindset of you would be making profits for few years.
No. Intention has to be. So every top line generation should be with the desire to make a profit. As a strategy, you may say, I need to generate footfalls, I need to generate eyeballs, I need to do this. So उसके लिए as a strategy मैं price कम कर रहा हूँ. जैसे Jio ने किया, for example. To kill the others. पहले उन्होंने free दे दिया साल भर. So that people get. Now that is as per a strategy. आइडिया नहीं कि जिंदगी भर हम लॉस ही बनाना है. आइडिया जब हम बनाएंगे तो वील कवर अप फॉर ऑल द लॉसेस मेड. एंड इफ दैट इज द वे यू आर डूइंग, देन यू नीड द एबिलिटी टू सर्वाइव इन दैट फेज वेयर यू आर नॉट मेकिंग प्रॉफिट. उसके लिए वो गॉडफादर या आपके पास उतना पैसा होना चाहिए या कोई होना चाहिए सेइंग आई विल सपोर्ट यू टिल यू रीच दैट लेवल. जी.
At the age of 66, my age is 66, mutual fund ठीक है कि NPS ठीक है?
Mutual fund will give you far higher returns. I would prefer a mutual fund.
So you have a question?
Risk.
उसमें you can choose the low risk ones. It has various types of mutual fund में भी बहुत आपको choose करनी पड़ेगी ना scheme. Don't go for the 100% equity one. हाँ जी, जी.
Jio doesn't take to care.
Sorry, हाँ जी.
Jio, an example.
हाँ.
I was about
हाँ. Okay.
Okay.
Role of higher education maybe abroad in personal finance because it comes as an
Role of higher education abroad in personal finance.
yeah, I mean it affects your personal finance because you invest education and there is no specifically specialization in subjects. It is not necessarily specialized in generating using that leveraging that program.
I talk about you taking an education loan for an higher education and spending money and then coming back or not coming back and then generating income.
Big question mark there because you don't know what might happen. Job मिले पहले people used to go overseas कि वहीं जाके settle हो जाएंगे. अब तो वहाँ job ही नहीं मिलती. You have to come back. So and frankly, quality of education in India is no less than anywhere else. I don't understand why would one want to, unless you have enough money to splurge and you're not dependent on that. The loan लेके वहाँ जाके इतनी uncertainty is, I don't think, the wisest thing to do.
Okay. Yes.
Question is related to personal finance. So last as a freedom as an individual, right? And now
WhatsApp University का.
books are also coming out, right? So we can get the authors as well, but yeah. And now the narrative is it is coming around that financial freedom is a myth.
Financial freedom?
It's a myth. Why? Because governments are increasing the taxes. You never know if the long-term capital gains are being taxed.
नहीं, that is nonsense. Taxes तो कम होते जा रहे हैं यार. ये तो जितना भी बोलते हैं, of course other taxes are there. You know India में what was the income tax rate in the 60s? 60s में अगर आप लाख रुपए के ऊपर कमाते थे, you had to pay 98. उसके बाद कम होते होते जब Mr. Manmohan Singh became the finance minister, we were down to 60% corporate tax and 55% was the highest personal income tax. 55%. When Dr. Manmohan Singh presented his first budget, a committee appointed की थी on direct tax reforms under the chairmanship of a person called Raja Chalaiya. Raja Chalaiya had submitted his first draft recommendations and he said, India is in a high tax regime, हमको कम करना चाहिए and maybe 5% से कम करो इस बजट में, मगर बोलो सबको हम करते जाएंगे till we reach 30%. And exactly वही मनमोहन सिंह ने किया. तो 98 से आके 60, 60 से आके 30, अब तो 25 हो गया corporate tax. तो and then the changes Dr. Manmohan Singh brought are mind-boggling. एक जमाने में वेल्थ टैक्स आज भी है, मगर अगर 100 लोग देते थे तो अब 5 लोग देते होंगे. The changes he brought. Capital gains tax at one time was very high and opportunities of saving were not there. Then he introduced more avenues of saving. Then they introduced something known as cost inflation index, which again reduced it drastically. इंडिया में गिफ्ट टैक्स होता था, abolish हो गया. Estate duty होती थी, abolish हो गई. Nobody can say today we are in a high tax regime compared to what we were. We are amongst the best countries in the world so far as income tax is concerned. I mean direct tax. अभी आप कोई बोले GST भी है, ये वो सब तो है ही है, वो तो है ही है. So of course it is, of course, and avenues of investment and the return that you get and the awareness about stock exchange and the बच्चा compounding जानता है आजकल, power of compounding, power of वो समझ जाओ, that itself will take you towards your financial freedom.
It's okay. So we are about to end the session now.
yes,
We have
yes.
exceeded the time.
Yeah.
So for them to continue have your wisdom, obviously it can be through books. So would you do you have any YouTube channel or you conduct sessions? So
I conduct a lot of sessions, but mainly
from your website, I guess you can get the details about any
but I
upcoming
don't
sessions.
do for
अच्छा,
personal
normal,
finance पे
Okay,
नहीं
okay.
करता. बहुत लोग करते हैं आजकल, तो मैं नहीं करता.
Okay.
People have done one day courses with us and started teaching personal finance. तो डर लगता है उसमें घुस के करने के लिए.
So and last question, sir, जिस book से हमने शुरू किया था, Timeless Wisdom. What message that book is giving to the audience?
See, this timeless wisdom जिसके लिए आज session है, this is actually after COVID, 2-3 साल पहले, I started sending every Sunday to a small group of people. I called it Sunday Musings on Finance. A thought जाती है कुछ दोस्तों के बीच में. Mull over it, deep thoughts in a small paragraph. Somehow that group started growing. I send it, then they send it further. It started going to lakhs of people. जाता अभी भी, आज सुबह भी भेजा मैंने Sunday Musing. हापर ने किताब निकाल दी. It is a compilation of Sunday Musings. This is one thought per page. So this new book, unlike other books, is a compilation of Sunday Musings. But in a way, it covers almost every aspect of business and personal. It is broken into business. Most of it is business. Then there is on macroeconomics. There is on income tax. There is on stock market. छोटे-छोटे sections. So this is, if you want easy read, you want something कि decide करो, रोज सुबह एक पढ़ेंगे, पूरा दिन उस पर सोचेंगे, a lot of learning can happen. This is what this new book is all about.
So we conclude the session here. It was a wonderful session, sir,
Thank you.
and I
Thank you.
guess many people now are going to evaluate their financials from altogether a different perspective. We thank a lot
Thank you.
for sparing your time for this valuable session and for the audience also for being with us and having a very interactive session. Over to you, ma'am.
I'm sure that you would have been taking back a great spark of